So I'm going to be doing a presentation that's focused on essentially how you can leverage the internet better. Before I get started, how many of you have a website? All right, pretty much, what do they call it with poker? Your ante, your table stakes, or just to get in the game, you have to have a website. Although I've seen some people who said I have a terrible website and I really don't even like to send people to it. I can see it nodding. No.
Mine's okay.
Yours okay, all right.
Needs help.
But I want to ask you, how many of you get a significant amount of your business from people who find you online? All right, I'm going to guess maybe 30%, something like that. Okay, so that means that two-thirds of you have a website. Do I need this? Is this sort of falling away from my?
We can hear you. You're loud.
Okay, all right. So that means that two-thirds of you are in a position where the website is there and you point people to it and it acts like a brochure, but it's not something that is bringing you business. So let's talk about this. I'm going to do my presentation sitting down because I'm going to be playing the piano here and trying not to sit on the cord. All right, okay. So, question we're all here for is how can an architecture firm or design firm bring in new business? And as I just said, is it possible for an architect website to bring in new business? So we've seen a few people have that as a regular source of new business. So I've asked you, has your website brought in new clients, or is it just an online brochure? I gave you a little background info here, but I'm going to switch gears to show you something. My other area of real expertise is, if we go to here, is ArchiCAD. So some of you actually, gotten to know me, have studied with the tools that I've created for ArchiCAD users. So if you don't know what ArchiCAD is, it's a 3D design software specifically for architects. It competes against Revit. Primarily. I've been working with the software since 1989, so I was selling the product long before the internet, and of course got to create website to continue to sell the product. In 2007, I created a product to add on to ArchiCAD called Master Template, and started to have the question of, I wasn't promoting it just to my own local clients, I was wanting to promote it worldwide. How do I get in front of ArchiCAD users? Now, you may think that's very different than your question, but it's the same thing. People who could use my services, my expertise, how do I get in front of them so that they know, oh, this looks interesting, this person is an expert. So how do you get in front of the people who are looking for what you provide? So one of the things that, of course, you want to look at is if someone Googled something, if they typed in something related to your work, residential architect, or design for bank branches, things like that, would they find you? So in 2010, when I was actually starting to go out on my own, leaving the world of selling the software, I looked up ArchiCAD tutorial to see where I stood, because I had created quite a few written pieces on different websites, and I found that I wasn't on the first page, I was barely on the second page, and I realized people wouldn't necessarily find me. Well, over time, I reached the point where, for example, this Quick Start Course 1 has 500,000 views. This is, sort of a basic ArchiCAD training. And down lower here, you'll see bobrow.com. For several years, I've had about 4 or 5 of the first page listings because of the work that I'm going to tell you about in terms of the things that will help you to rank and will help people to find you. So, again, here's one of my sites. Here's another one, and another one. Here's 3 on this page here, and YouTube as well. I have like 17,000 subscribers and like 3 million views here. So, what did I learn with that? I learned that there are ways to position your firm so it gets found. So, Sarco Architects is one of our members of the Architect Marketing Academy and a longtime client. Managed to get them set up. So if you search for an architect in Costa Rica or a Costa Rica design build firm, you'll see them listed very prominently. And I can go through a few more here. What I'm going to do later on in just a few minutes is show you the difference between a website that doesn't rank and a website that does rank. And it's not like there's a magic bullet, like, hey, if you just put this one thing here, it's going to make the difference. But these are a bunch of things that the more you do, the more likely that you're going to be found and bring in business with your website. So is it possible for an architect website to bring in business? We've heard a few people. One of the firms that we worked with in the UK, this was back in 2012, they said that they got an occasional lead from the website, couldn't remember any projects that had come in, and within a year of working carefully on their web presence, they had like 10 leads a month, and actually had closed over 20 major projects, in that time from the website. So it was a big transformation. So you may ask, do people search for an architect online? Google says that the word architect is included in a search term 18 million times every month, 2 million in the US. But most architect websites fail. They rarely bring in new business because, well, first of all, as you know, you're not taught marketing, particularly in architecture school, and you approach very often the website as a design project. You want to make it look good. You want to make, if you showed it to your friends who are architects, that they would go, I like your site. But it's not a design project, it is a marketing project, and so you have to think of it that way. So if it's a marketing project, you have to think about who is it for. Is it for yourself? Well, you want to feel good about it. Is it for your friends and colleagues? Well, it would be nice if they say, I like your site. But really, it's for the prospective clients, whether they're, if you're doing B2C, if you're doing residential, be for the average person who wants to do a renovation, or maybe the wealthy person who wants to do, a whole new home. If it's commercial, you want to be able to speak the language and answer the questions, the things that these people, whether they're hospital administrators or, bank people or commercial HR departments who are saying we're looking at how many more employees that we're going to have. So if you're talking about who it's for, what do they need? So we've talked about the monkey's fist a lot, and the monkey's fist is a way to basically anticipate or respond to common questions in a form that's leveraged. In other words, if people come to your office, there are certain things that they often ask, or if you meet them at a social event or a networking event, there are many things that they may ask. To the extent that you can anticipate that and have that answer on your website, or not the answer, but a set of answers, a set of resources, then they will find you when they're looking for those answers, and they will engage in terms of your site more than just when you have 25 years experience, here's pictures of projects.